All right, y'all, welcome back to another episode of the Money Honeys podcast where we,
Freddie,
Chantel,
and Dev,
worship at the Church of the Hustle. We pray at the altar of the hustle.
the bag,
and the bank account.
Amen.
Ladies, how are we this week?
Look at us just diligently reading our lines. The bag. Yeah.
Well, after that amazing intro, I'm honestly feeling way better.
Yeah. Tell us more. What's going on? What's
Well, so the other thing I'm feeling is a little sweaty because the purchase that I've recently made is natural deodorant.
Oh.
welcome?
Are you in the natural deodorant?
I'm on the natural.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, that makes sense. I should have known. I feel it, right?
I'm
it makes
very
sense
much
for Deb.
still on the aluminum deodorant journey. And that's my truth.
Yeah, because that's the thing where I'm like, I was in the clinical strength game, but I was like, I just decided once and for all, yes, I know I'm a sweaty, smelly gal, but what if I just accepted it? Speak your truth.
Wait, remember when you and I discovered, or no, when you told me the difference between antiperspirant and deodorant for the first time back at BuzzFeed?
I told you that?
Yeah, because I started the natural. We were sitting together at the desks, and I was like, started the natural deodorant game, and I was like, I didn't know I sweat this much. And you were like, well, were you using antiperspirant? Oh. And I was like, yeah, but that's not. There's no difference. And you're like, yes, there is. There certainly is.
Yeah. So am I a little sweaty right now? Yes.
What brand are you on?
Oh, salt something. I don't remember its full name. It's a lavender scent. Of course,
On brand,
gotta keep
of
it
course.
in the brand.
Of course.
But yeah, that's a little purchase that I made this week. I'm on week 3, which is apparently when you're supposed to smell the most. Sorry, Dev, because I'm sitting right next to you.
Oh, right, because it does take your body a second to
the whole
get used to
detox
it.
situation. I don't know.
How are we feeling? How are we smelling?
You know what? I thought we would smell a lot worse. I really
that's
did.
good.
Wow.
I really did. And so, yeah, but enough about my pits.
We can talk about your pits forever.
We can talk about, it's Money Honey's Pits edition. The money pit. The money pit. Anyways, Miss Frederica.
Yes.
How are you doing, gal?
I'm doing good. This week has been, how has this week been? Actually, I think this week has been a really good balance of work and rest. I've had like some headachiness the past couple of days. Usually I'll have a headache and then it's fine the next day, but I had a headache Tuesday and Wednesday this week. And so that kind of slowed me down a little bit, but I'm like, when your body's telling you to slow down, it means just take that as a sign to take a beat. But other than that, things are good. I'm looking into costs of an exterminator because there's some little buggies around.
Ew, we hate
Oh,
that.
I have a guy for you.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Let's exchange contact info once we wrap up. Let's chat offline.
We'll circle back, resync up, and then put it on the couch.
Yeah. So like that feels like an adult move to try to make. I have no clue what that costs or if there are like levels to it because it's not like an infestation or anything crazy, but it's just like not ideal.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Better to handle it early.
Yeah. So that's something that I've been looking into. Oh, and I can't believe I forgot this. I booked my birthday trip.
Where are you going?
My mom and I are going to go to Cabo.
Wow.
Yes. I'm very, very excited. So I booked the hotel and still pending flights. Flights right now, you guys?
Stupid. It's because the gas. It's because of Putin.
Putin's gas. How about you, Dev?
I've been working hard on my YouTube channel because I'm finished with my other projects. So my YouTube channel is kind of my side hustle. So this week I'm exploring what it means to be like a bimbo and seeing if I want to take that on as another side hustle,
So
Being a bimbo as a side hustle.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
yeah, so for those of us who aren't in the weeds of TikTok, can you maybe elaborate a little bit really quickly on what do you mean by bimbo?
Yeah, a bimbo is somebody who, it's self-described bimbo, self-identified bimbo. They are
Yes.
somebody who, talks about it and prioritizes their looks and then leftist commentary. That's how it's been presented a lot on TikTok. So they talk about like Marxism and communism, but also my boobs and also fuck men, you know?
Yeah.
Wow. Very subversive.
Very subversive.
Gen Z loves a subversive moment, and I love them for that. I really do.
They do.
So I'm doing that as a 33-year-old woman, you know?
Hell yeah.
Really.
Is there an age range for most bimbos?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Love that.
But, you know.
You're like, what is the average demo for a bimbo?
Well, whatever your never mind. But yeah, which kind of brings us to what we're talking about today and how we're going to get started and what we're learning about today, which is what does Waka Flocka Flame know that we don't? Okay.
What does he know?
I appreciate a diverse portfolio, so I want to play a quick game called Match the Rapper with their side hustle.
Okay.
I love your games.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, so number one, who's the newest spokesperson for Taco Bell?
I think I know this one.
Yeah, who?
Because I think I saw a commercial and I was like, wait, this is on brand and I like it. Is it Doja Cat?
Yes. Ding, 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 ding.
Does that make sense for her?
Well, yes, it does. And also, I didn't even realize that, but yes, I've seen the commercial a million times, but her song is in it, but she isn't in it. But I didn't realize that it's like it's almost like a campaign kind of situation.
I saw a commercial where she was in. That's the only one that I've seen.
I didn't see one with her in it. Get Into It, yeah.
Yes.
Get Into It, yeah. Has been rampant in the Taco Bell commercials. So this is all making sense now. I love it.
And I have to just show you, I don't know how we're going to handle this. This is the second episode of the pod, but I need to show you this TikTok of Doja Cat's. Robin, anyway. I just want to show you this, like how she handles her spine.
Look, y'all, I just woke up and I'm aware that I look like this. So that's settled. The next thing is, I gotta do this you gotta be quiet though. You can't tell anybody that I told you this. I gotta do this fucking TikTok where I do and everybody keeps calling it a jingle. It's for Taco Bell and I gotta just fucking jingle. By the way, I banned that word within my team, jingle. And I like to say that, but I have to do a jingle. They want me to rap about Mexican pizza. So I just want to give you a heads up before you see that shit. Just know. It's contractual.
I love her. Like, her TikTok presence is
She's
so good.
I'll send you the actual jingle later after this. But yes.
Please.
Moving on. Who owns 5 beauty salons?
Oh, I have no idea. Man, woman?
Do you want a hint?
Yes.
It's a lady.
Okay.
Is Nicki Minaj.
Close. Lil' Kim.
Oh.
I can see it.
Yep, that makes sense.
Yeah. Who is a landlord?
Probably a lot of them. I imagine a lot of them own properties.
I want to give you a hint in the form of this quote that I found of them talking about their landlordism.
Okay.
I do a great job of interviewing the tenant before I just let them move in, and I just get a gist of what they're going to be like staying at the crib. You don't want them to tear anything up or ruin the property, but if it ever comes to a point, you just have to figure out a way to do it. It's a law-abiding way to go about doing it, and I would just like to do it like that.
For some reason, what came to mind is LL Cool J. I don't know why. I'm sure it's wrong, but I just kind of got that vibe.
It's the subtle threat, I think, underneath it.
Yeah. It's a subtle threat.
It's the subtle threat.
Like, I just
like to do it like that.
Okay, that's your guess.
Big Sean.
This is 2 Chainz, actually.
Oh.
Yeah. I was in the neighborhood.
Yep. Yeah.
They're friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
They probably subscribe to the same philosophy.
Same philosophy.
Yeah.
And you probably can get this one based off of the title of the episode, but who claims to be their own bank?
Does being your own bank just mean you have all your cash under your mattress? Like, what do we mean by be your own bank?
And that is what this episode is about today, ladies.
Okay.
So Waka Flocka Flame claims to be his own bank, and I'm going to show you this YouTube clip.
So many clips today.
No, this is interactive.
It's a clip
show.
journey.
We love a clip show.
Man, please. Please. When I know I had all the millions and I didn't even have a credit card, the dumbest. I was like the dumbest person ever. I used to spend money on everything. Man, please.
Yeah.
Please. I'm going to open up an insurance, put $2-3 million in my insurance, and borrow from that and put it back in. I never lose my money, ever. And anybody get money, I'm giving you a promissory note. Because you gonna promise to pay this back. I'm gonna bring you to court.
Hey.
I'm ready for the Waka finance.
So yes.
Yeah, I can't say I ever would have guessed that if you hadn't told us that's what this episode was about.
Right. I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
I really didn't even know that was an option, or it seems like he kind of just got creative, you know what I mean? And like in terms of making sure that he has like the most control that he can have over all of his money. And then he can also, it seems like he probably will let people borrow.
Borrow against it even too, yeah.
Yeah.
So are y'all ready? Are you ready to go to the Waka Flocka School of Economics?
I guess.
Let's enroll together, ladies, after the break. No, I'm just kidding.
Now I'm just confused about what life insurance is in general, if that's a
Yes.
possibility around it. Like, I need clarity.
Well, before we hop in, I just want to say I'm going to briefly chat about my own financial decisions when I explain life insurance so we kind of understand it through storytelling, which includes making some judgment calls for myself. But I am in no way giving any financial advice on this pod because I am a certifiable hot dumb bitch. Okay?
Dev, you're not dumb.
I am the person in your
You're
life.
smart.
Thank you. But I'm the person in your life that you talk about your sexual antics with. I am not your accountant, babes. I'm not your accountant, okay? You need to get someone who's actually good with numbers, okay?
That's a good disclaimer that we should just
Say probably every
a lot.
episode. We're the girl you call up when you accidentally wax off an eyebrow. When you want to know about where to put your money, we're all trying to figure it out, okay?
Yeah. Let's learn together. Let's chat together. We'll tell our stories together.
Yeah.
So in general, when it comes to retirement and planning for retirement, the name of the game is putting your money where Uncle Sam can't get it. So there are all these different like retirement options, like a Roth IRA, a SEP IRA, whatever. And they all have different ways to like hide the money from the government, like different tax things. So just keep that in mind as we talk about this. So Chantel, you said, is this in lieu of a retirement account, right?
Yeah, because I know that's all that I've really been taught is like life insurance is something that your beneficiary gets after you pass, not something that's an investment account. I've been taught that like you have investment accounts, you maybe have a retirement account, and even your retirement account, they can penalize you if you pull it out ahead of a certain age. So this whole life insurance, what Waka Flocka Flame is talking about, is very, very foreign to me.
Right. Do you know anything about life insurance, Fred?
Not really, to be honest. I think I'm probably the most novice of the three of us, especially since you've been on a journey.
That's such a journey.
So I'm excited to learn more because I know it's probably something that I've just been subconsciously pushing to the back of my mind and not thinking about it
Right.
on purpose.
It makes sense because we're relatively young. And the name of the game here is to have a diverse portfolio. So it should be a part of a holistic strategy. And I'm also a woman who like prefers to hedge her bets. So I'm not going to come out fully against it, but I'm going to tell you what my experience is with life insurance policies. Okay. So first off, there are two types of life insurance policies. There's term and permanent. And some companies may have some pretty adjectives in front of it, like the golden, platinum, diamond, ruby, drip plan. Or the Bankington's money bags plan. You know what I mean?
The Bankington's money bags.
The Scroogey McMillions for you plan.
It's really just to draw you in. It's to draw you in. Yeah.
You know what? Consider me drawn.
I love how they're always like sapphire, golden, platinum.
Yeah.
Rubies.
Yeah. The reserve. The ultimate.
Treasure. I know, they have to make it shiny. But anyway, term insurance is what you're probably familiar with, okay? It's when you pay premiums into life insurance policy, and the payment has two basic parts. The first covers the cost of the insurance, and the second pays admin costs. So you pay something like $100 a month, and that builds into overall like a $2 million, $1 million plan, so that when you die, no matter what age you die at, as long as you are keeping up with those payments, your beneficiaries get whatever chunk of money, $1 million, $2 million at the end of that, however much your policy was.
Okay, so if you have $1 million policy and you die but have only put $200,000 in there,
you would
over
still,
time, you would,
depending on the policy, but you would
Yeah.
still give that money to your
you
beneficiaries.
would still get
The $1 million
the $1 million
payout.
payout.
So this is like a good option if you have kids, or like if you're getting married and you're like setting up your life to look differently than being a single person living off the seat of your pants, right?
So that's term.
That's term. Permanent life insurance is that plus like giving daddy a little something extra, like slipping him an extra $20, and that $20 goes into an account.
Who's daddy in this equation? Is daddy a bank? Is daddy your dad? Is daddy you? Is daddy future you? Who's daddy?
I would say daddy is the life insurance policies. The
Okay.
life insurance companies.
Okay.
They're daddy.
So slipping a little extra is like I'm paying my premium and then I'm paying however much money in addition to that premium.
Per month?
Per month.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And that's something extra. Like I gave you the $20 bill example, but it's not something that you can just determine like, ooh, I'll give you an extra $20. That'll go into this separate account. They determine that extra amount that you give them a month. Because of course they do. So that $20 goes into a bank account like a savings account, and that grows at a fixed rate. Okay, so it's also tax deferred, meaning that Uncle Sam turns a blind eye and doesn't tax you on all the interest that you accumulate as long as the money stays in the account. You'd have to pay a tax only if you withdraw more cash than you paid in. Okay, so you could withdraw money out of that account if it's under the amount that you have been paying in, right?
So that's literally how Waka is his own bank.
Yeah, kind of. That's what he was referencing.
Yeah.
So he'll put in like $3 million, but even if he withdraws $2.5 million, it's not taxed? Or
Yeah. If he puts in $3 million, he can't take out any of the like
as
interest.
long as it's under that $3 million. Okay, so he can't take out any of the interest that he's earned. It's just the amount that he's put in. As long as it's under that amount, then it's tax free.
And that obviously grows at a faster rate over time because it's a
Right.
fixed rate. And permanent life insurance policies let you also borrow against the value in your cash account without withdrawing or needing to pay taxes on it.
Can you break that
Explain.
down?
Yeah.
What do you mean borrow against?
Like if you want to do a loan, you can get a loan for that amount.
Oh, so if you put $3 million in and he's like, "Hey, I need a loan for like $1 million,"
You could borrow it from the
can-
life insurance policy people, and it's like without withdrawing your money or needing to
Right.
pay taxes on that.
And no interest?
I don't know that part.
Okay.
Maybe we have-
That's something to look into because I'm like,
Yeah.
that would, because I feel like the worst part of loans is the interest.
Right, definitely.
You know what I mean? So
I'm
it's
sure
like,
they
I
tack
feel like
on
you'd
some
probably
fees.
need an
Yeah.
interest, but that's interesting.
Maybe it's
so
less.
yeah, so then it's like the money that's in your account is kind of like the collateral. So it's like if for some reason you didn't pay your loan or whatever, then they're like, well, we know exactly where another $1 million is coming from. So here you go.
Yeah, right. And I have a little graph here because, again, I applied for one of these bad boys last year. And they gave me one of these graphs. And I just want to show you how compounding interest works. Okay, so say you wanted $1 million policy, right? If you started when you were age 25 and you want to get to that $1 million, you would only have to put in 182,000, and the rest would be that interest compound.
We love a compounding interest moment.
Right. So like if you decide to open a policy when you're at the end at 55, you would have to put in that amount of money, which is what, 600,000? Almost 700,000, and your interest would only be that much to get you to $1 million. So really, if you're going to start a life insurance plan, like the sooner the better. Because you can start accruing a lot of that interest over time.
If you're gonna use it,
Yes.
in the way that Waka Flocka Flame is using his. Got it. Yeah, because I've seen these graphs, but just for like retirement accounts, where it's like put this amount into your retirement account so that it compounds and grows, so that by the time you retire, you have XX amount of money.
Right, and this could act like a retirement account. This, and a lot of times it does for folks.
Yeah.
Podcasting, the most flattering visual medium. So I'll be sure to put that graph up on our YouTubes and our Instagrams.
Yeah.
When we make it. Okay, but I just, I wanted to show this graph because, like I said, I went through my own little personal experience with life insurance last year.
Oh boy.
And it started with me applying for disability insurance, and then I got sucked into the whole enchilada. Okay, so do y'all know about disability insurance? Because honestly, the three of us should probably look into it. I needed to take a break from shopping for it because of this experience, which I'm about to get into. But really quick, disability insurance is like what you have if you are in a salaried position, right? So like back when we were at BuzzFeed, if like something happened to us on the job, there's disability insurance that's built into like our contracts there. So like we would still get paid out for a certain amount of time if we're healing or whatever.
I went on disability after my bunion surgery.
Oh yeah.
To heal. So I think I took like 4 weeks or something like that. But,
Right. And they
yeah.
pay you a portion of your salary. Yeah.
Yeah, during that time.
And so as freelancers, you can set up your own policy. So if anything happens to you, you're not stuck. Right. So that's what I was looking for. That's what I was shopping for. And I met somebody at one of these companies. I'm not going to put them on blast because they may sponsor us in the future.
We'll never tell.
In which case, I will change my tune. I'll sell myself to the highest bidder.
JK.
A little.
And I was really excited to take this step for myself because I felt like it was a very grown-up thing to do. Like I felt like I was getting married to myself again because, again, this happened back in 2020. I had just lost my job at NBC. I was worried about like, I had some income coming in from like freelance gigs that I was working, and I wanted to know how to best implement that money for retirement and for my future, right? So I was like, okay, I'll just sign up for all of it. I'll sign up for disability insurance and permanent life insurance. And it was a hefty monthly investment, okay? Because you're paying for that term life insurance, which we talked about, if you die, you get, your beneficiaries get X amount of money. And that little bit extra on the side, which is a rate that they choose for you.
Would you be comfortable sharing a ballpark of what's the rate that they chose for you? Because, I don't even know what that could even... Is it a percentage of what you are putting in? Or...
Yeah. I'll tell you the dollar amount outside of the podcast, but I did break it down to percentages.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was already at that time investing 25% of my take-home income into my savings.
Okay.
So that means I had savings and investments because I have a Roth IRA and, I took my 401k from BuzzFeed and put it somewhere else. Yeah, rolled it over, right. So 25% of my monthly income was going towards that stuff. Adding a life insurance policy would be taking another 8% of my monthly take home and putting it into that pie of savings. So total, I would be saving 33% of my take home monthly income. So that's a lot. That's a lot. You know, if you have, God bless, if I were taking home $10,000 a month, which I'm not, but if I was, that's like $3,300 a month, right? Did you like how I took a pause with that very simple math equation?
No, same. I was like
10, carry the 1, drop the decimal.
Yeah. No, that is a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot,
Yeah.
right?
That's
Like-
scary, actually. I'm like, ooh.
When I think
don't know,
about
it makes me
like
feel...
30%, that's what they always start off like in mob boss movies when they're like, you take 70, I take 30. You know what I mean? It's always the beginning of the negotiation.
Oh, we'll do an episode on retirement stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause I feel like we each know a little bit, but not as much as we want to.
Right.
Devin probably knows most.
A little bit. But y'all, in reality, so like I, at the time, was like, man, I'm really setting up future Devin for
Yes.
success.
Yes.
Because I don't know what's happening with right now.
Yep.
Because it was all chaos, 2020, it still is. But I'm really setting her up for success, God bless. But in reality, the process was not as lucrative for me. Because for moi. Because the golden, platinum, ruby, diamond money drip plan promised to be a little bit more giving than she actually was. And I'll tell you more after the break.
Okay. So you showed us the graph, and it pretty much showed us, like, if we start a life insurance policy younger, it's more beneficial because of the compound interest situation. Realistically, you know, obviously starting one at 21 would be, you know, lovely. But realistically, when do I need to get life insurance?
That's a great question. But first, let me take it back to me.
I forgot. It's not you.
Did I mention that I had to give up weed for this? If y'all don't know, here on the pod, I like weed. I'm a big stoner gal. And I also had to confront my demons for this chance to purchase a life insurance policy. I will explain. First of all, in order to apply for life insurance, you have to have like a nurse come to your house and basically audit your body to see if you're healthy, because it is, at the end of the day, insurance. And so they want to like poke their little heads up. They want to miss frizzle up into your body to see like what the liability is. So a very grumpy woman came to my house at 5 a.m.
5. Oh,
I don't know why.
who feels healthy at 5 a.m.?
Literally
I'm
no
just
one.
saying, who feels healthy? It's 10:30, and I'm like, my eyes are red.
But it's funny because I remember my parents started a life insurance policy for themselves when I was in high school and like claimed me as a dependent or something like that. But I remember a nurse also came to our house at 5 a.m. at that time. That for some reason, this is when the life insurance girlies are out at 5 a.m.
Life insurance squirrels.
The girls.
The girls are out.
Like 4:30, time to leave.
I had to give her my pee.
Okay.
Wow.
5 in the morning.
So like a drug test.
Like a drug test. I had to give her my blood. So this is why I gave up weed for a month for this
Yeah.
drug test.
Yeah.
So I could get approved for my disability in this life insurance policy. And y'all, I don't like needles. Okay. So I was like on my couch in my living room with my cats on top of me with an arm out, like a drama queen. And she was like she was not amused. She didn't like my cats either. I was like, this is Mara. She's like, whatever.
You're like, he had major surgery 3 years ago. He's a miracle. She's like, woman, give me your vein.
Literally. I was like, I had this thing when people take my blood where I like, the only way it calms me down is if I sing to myself. So sometimes I ask the nurses to sing with me. And I'm like, can we sing Beyonce together?
That's really
very
adorable.
endearing. I take
Yeah.
it
She
that
did
was
not,
not a.
She didn't know how to
wasn't
sing with
into
me.
it. Damn.
So,
Her loss.
yeah, I know. All of this so that we're probably going to bleep this. All of this so that or all of this so that meow, 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 meow could take 8% of my monthly income. I did all of this, okay? Does this sound like a healthy behavior to you? Because for me, it sounds like I was being digmatized by a promise. Okay, so to answer your question, when should a person get life insurance policy? Term insurance is on the table whenever. Okay, it's a relatively affordable. It's usually like $100, $200 a month, and it's a great option if you're getting married or changing your lifestyle. You have a baby, you want to make sure you make them your beneficiary. Term insurance is great for that. Permanent life insurance is a cool option if you have the extra blank percent of your monthly income to donate into that savings account.
So you were getting term plus permanent. Okay. I didn't realize it was a twofer.
No, term.
You can't do one. You can't do permanent unless you have term.
That's how they
Got you.
get you.
Got
So
you.
Waka Flocka Flame has both.
Yeah, because it's always blended. Their term insurance is always blended into the permanent.
Got you.
Right. You can't just
Well, that
get
would make sense, yeah, because it's like if it's not just his bank, it
Right.
still will roll over into his children. You know, once it's
legacy. Yeah. So permanent life insurance is a cool option if you have the extra 8% or whatever that percentage is, because again, they fix the rate. But because the returns on that life insurance, because the returns of that life insurance are cute, like they are fixed, right? You know what else is like fixed rate is like a government bond. So it's not like, your returns are cute, but it will always be at like 5% or 7%.
So it's not as dependent on like the stock market like a traditional investment account would be.
Right.
If you have stocks or even a mix of stocks and bonds and stuff, it's a little bit more playful with stocks and with interest and all that stuff.
Right. I think that we should take a second to explain for retirement, usual like Roth IRAs or whatever, those portfolios are a mixture of stocks, bonds, and mutual funds, which are based off of the stock market, government bonds, whatever. It's basically like you give your money to Charles Schwab or whatever for your retirement, and they spread that money out across those three things.
And it's traditionally more aggressive the younger you are.
Right.
And then it gets more conservative the older you are, so that it's like, if I'm 3 years away from retirement, I don't want you all to be gambling with my money. But if I'm 40 years away from retirement, let's take some risks. Let's make some big gains.
Right. And that's exactly right. You're gambling with your money. So like, whereas a life insurance policy, the fixed rate is 7%, like if you were having a really good stock market one year, it could go up to 10%, 15%, you know what I mean? Where you get that interest, that compound interest back. So yeah.
Yeah, so there's an upside for some people doing this to have that fixed rate, because then you just actually know at such and such age it will be XX amount.
Right.
Got it. Okay. This is starting to make a lot more sense to me now.
Okay, so let me reveal the scam.
Oh, I love a scam. I'm sorry that you were in a scam.
Sorry that you were on the receiving end of this.
Yes. I'm only excited to hear about it because I know that you're okay. No one come for me.
The scam. Now, again, it's not a scam if this is what you want.
Right.
But they don't tell you this when you're going into it. So that nurse came to my house. She did like a physical audit of my being to see if they wanted to sponsor me.
Did it feel invasive?
Like as invasive as going to a doctor's office.
Okay.
It was invasive because she wasn't a great personality.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she came into my house at 5 a.m.
Right.
But it wasn't that bad. Like whatever. Anyway.
Okay.
So what they also start doing before you've even gotten approved is they start taking that money out of your account immediately.
So they're not even, okay, we've decided to do this policy. We will start withdrawing funds on like
On
April
this day,
1st.
yeah.
While you're in review, they're taking it out?
Yeah. And that money isn't going into an account just yet. Like retroactively, they'll pay back like the interest as if you had just applied, right? And on the date that you gave them the money. But in the interim, it's just you're giving the companies money and for the application process. And the application process lasted 9 months.
Whoa!
Wait a minute.
Is that normal?
Wait, were they so monthly?
Monthly.
They
They were taking my money monthly for 9 months. And I had not been approved yet.
You could have had a whole baby.
I could have
Yeah.
my life could have completely changed. Right. So no shade to anyone who works for these types of life insurance places, but the person I worked with really didn't tell me that. And the way this person kind of marketed themselves is they wanted to help. I already have a financial advisor, but they wanted to be like a second opinion, and they wanted to help me grow my business and do all these things. And they were going to, hop on the horn with me if ever I had a question. But then as soon as I signed that contract and as soon as like they started taking money out, she was gone. She was like very hard to get a hold of. She had her assistant email me periodically, to sign forms and stuff. But it was kind of a little bit of a bait and switch because, these folks who work for, a lot of times, these folks who work for these life insurance policies are trained to market themselves as like financial advisors, blah, 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 blah. But a lot of what their job is they're salespeople.
Yeah.
Right? They're trying to sell life insurance policies.
Is that normal behavior? How long is it supposed to take to get approved?
That was told to me that it was normal. That this was normal. It was going to take a while.
That the timeline was normal.
Well, when I kept checking in, they were like, "No, this is normal, blah blah blah. It just takes some time." But going into it, like had I known this whole process would have taken 9 months. And mind you, 9 months in 2020 when everything was up in the air.
That's really rough.
Right? And again, no shade on anybody who works for these life insurance places. I don't see y'all as predatory sharks. And even if you were a shark, that's not so bad. You love sharks. We love sharks.
I love sharks. Give me Shark Week every week.
Yeah, and I'm chaotic neutral when it comes to people like, trying to scam and get their money and do their job. That's their job. I get it. They're just doing their job. But life insurance plans do sound sick if you have the money to invest, aka if you're okay with letting go 8% of your income, even if you're not approved. So what happened to me is like 9 months later, I got a letter in the mail. And then I had a meeting put on my calendar shortly after that said, "Hey, you're on Lexapro, so no. We're not going to give you this life insurance policy because we see your drug history." Because they had to call. They contact literally every doctor you've ever had. So they contacted my psychiatrist. And they were like, she's on SSRIs and has been for like 2 years. So probably not.
So how do you even get... my mind is just blown. So in order to get approved, you just have to be what? You can't be on any medication? Like, is it a particular list of medications that you can't be on? Like, what is the...
That's the thing. They don't tell you that. They don't disclose that at the top.
Because they don't want you to hide whatever you're doing.
And leaving this process, I have a new motto, which is I'm going to lie to every doctor and every banker about what I do with my body and my time. Because, like, they can, I was denied based off of my drug use, right? So then I was like, oh, what? So I went to my doctors, I went to my therapist, I went to my psychiatrist. I was like, what did you disclose? And I was like, did you disclose any personal information, any personal stories about like being in a cabin in the woods with my boyfriend or whatever? Like, what did you tell them? And they were like, no, we didn't talk about like your personal life choices or your history. We just gave them a form that said like, this is the kind of medication she's on. So, which led me to believe, because they don't tell you, like, you can't, be on this kind of medication or you can't have this kind of pre-existing condition. It's always framed as a pre-existing condition. They don't tell you that at the top. So when they denied me for my drug usage, I could only assume it's Lexapro because my drug test came back clear.
Yeah. And so it's like...
I'm so sorry. That is like infuriating, and I don't even know how...
And then it took another month and a half to get all my money back. But I did get it back.
Good.
I did get it back. I did have to have a lot of terse conversations over Zoom with the woman who worked at this place. And that wasn't fun. Like I literally, you don't like conversations where you have to drag out their dirty laundry and like repeat the words they said back to you.
Yeah.
You don't love those conversations, but I had to have them.
Yeah.
But had I did get approved, I probably would have been singing a different story, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not saying, looking back now, I think it's great. I think it was like a blessing that I didn't get approved for life insurance, because I think I could be reinvesting that extra 8% into the stock market or NFTs or something like that. Or like maybe you're getting married and you need that extra 8% to plan a wedding, or you just had a baby, whatever it is. But life insurance plans are a great thing to invest in if you have the money and if you're risk averse. So let me paint a picture. Like maybe you have a cute new job that pays you 15% or 20% more than you're used to. And maybe you already have a house, and maybe you live comfortably. Maybe you already have a 401k with your company and Roth. And maybe you don't want to pay attention to the stock market or get into crypto. Then this, my good bitch, a life insurance policy might be good for you, because you already have the extra income. You already have a house.
You have your life built already based on a certain amount of money.
Right.
And so then if you have more money coming in, it's like, all right, well, I'm not going to miss that money.
Right.
Might as well put it into something that's building for me. And like you were saying, I don't want to deal with this other stuff. I'll just put it into here. I'll know exactly how much it's going to be in a certain amount of years.
Right. But you should probably get a Roth. You should probably get whatever kind of IRA. Max those out first before you get a life insurance policy plan. That's just my opinion. And that's what I've decided based off of my experience. But again, everyone's different. Everyone lives differently within different means.
Yeah. I hate that this happened to you. And I hate that, like, no one told you, especially because it's like, if we were in our 50s or 60s, we might be talking about life insurance more with our friends and know certain things. But people always advise to start these accounts when you're young. And so even if you had come to me and Fred, we wouldn't have known anything either. We would have been like, oh yeah, I know they want you to be quote unquote healthy. I never would have imagined that meant that, like, oh, taking care of your mental health, you're unhealthy in our eyes.
Right. Well,
and so you're not getting approved.
That's one life insurance company. So,
Yes.
and they, I've been told, because they're kind of like a blue chip company, they have very conservative morals and values. So you have to fit in within those value systems in order to get approved to be a part of their programs, right? There are probably different policies that value mental health and have more lenient drug policies or whatever. But yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah.
I have a question. So I know that you have a financial advisor.
I do.
Were you going through this journey with your advisor, kind of like step by step, or was this completely separate from that and you felt, or did you like ask your advisor any questions? Like,
Well,
how did that work?
My advisor and I initially went in, and I see my advisor once a quarter, right? Because she's busy, you know, and like there's only so much we can talk about with how my portfolio is doing, right? Because it's stock market, whatever. So when I checked in with her first, I was like, I want disability insurance. She was like, that's a great idea. You should probably get that. So then time passed, and I applied for it all, the whole enchilada, because I got sold, right? And then when I checked back in, I was like, yeah, I applied for permanent life insurance and disability and blah, blah, blah. And she was like, oh, okay. You know, she's like, are you sure? But she also knows that I'm very risk averse. Like, I don't like to gamble a lot with my money. So she was like, okay, well, you know, and I already have a 401k, blah, 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 blah.
It inherently could make sense for you.
Right. It could.
Yes. And she knows that you are smart in research and stuff like that. And so.
But she was a little relieved when it didn't go through. Because then, you know, I can reinvest that 8% with her or something.
Yeah.
What would her advice be for you? Just find a different, like, still stay on the course and find a different company to work with, or just kind of take a beat from life insurance for now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Take a beat from life insurance. Make sure you're maxing out your contributions to any like 401k fund, not 401, IRA funds or any other retirement plans that you have, and start there, and then get into potentially investing your money in a high yield savings account. Which, you know, it doesn't grow as much as a life insurance policy, obviously, but it's not like just sitting in a bank account and your money's being taxed or whatever, or it's growing at a bigger rate. And then she was like, "Listen, girl, you're young. You want to buy a house. Like you're gonna get married soon. Like you're thinking about having babies. It's good to have a little bit more liquid on you than to just take all of this and invest it now, because we're at the critical age in our 30s where we're making a lot of these milestone decisions. So it's good to have a little bit more underneath you in the nest egg rather than putting it all into investment accounts.
Yeah, that's true, because even with house and renovations and stuff, like Bank of America took away my savings account because I kept pulling out large amounts, but it was like for it was
For the house.
the purpose of it, of a savings, was to use it for this. But I'm trying to just really reevaluate and figure out like what's the best way. I mean, I do know that I need to put my money not in one savings account, so that's definitely my first step. But it is something to just think about, because with these like expenses, like wedding stuff, or babies, any other just like adult starting a new business, these types of things, like they cost money. And like I think that we've all done a decent job of saving, so we have that to give. But it's like you just have to like set it up in a way that's going to set you up for success, versus like almost feeling punished for using your money,
And all of these savings accounts, like I said at the top, are it's like, how do we hide the savings account from Uncle Sam, essentially? And then how do we disguise our savings as like distributions or investments, and those things we don't have to take taxes out of, either at the top or when you finally do use that money. So that's like the point of saving for retirement and all of this stuff. So yeah. Also, did you know that 50 Cent owns mines in South Africa? Like platinum mines? So that's where his retirement plan is.
Wow.
What?
Yeah, it was very vague when I was doing research on this. I was like, does he own blood diamonds?
Yeah, I mean, that's the first thing
what?
that kind of came to mind. I was like,
Yeah.
whoa, wait,
So we'll do research on that.
yeah.
I just don't have positive associations with the word like mines
Yeah.
and mining.
Mining.
Go research 50 Cent. Tell us what it really is.
Yeah. And don't mess with him, though. I feel like he's, got it down. Like he's his own mogul, I feel like. That's his side hustle.
is.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's my story.
Well,
Yeah.
I hope we learned something
yeah,
today.
no, I learned
Learned a
a
lot.
shit ton. And also, I'm just like, I'm a little traumatized
Oh, I'm so
by your
sorry.
experience.
Well, just if you take a meeting with folks who are trying to sell you life insurance policies, just know that they're trying to sell you life insurance policies. And you need, if you're gonna invest in it, make sure you're investing and shopping around with somebody who doesn't work just with one company.
More like a broker.
More like a broker who maybe works with a couple different companies and can be a little bit more flexible.
Are you allowed to tell that person, like, hey, here's the meds that I'm on, or here are the different conditions, and then they can kind of try to find something that might be more with it? Or are they not allowed to know any of that?
No, well, that was the thing. Like the person who I applied with, she was a friend of a friend, and so she knew my lifestyle. She knew what I was about. She had watched my content. So I, and we talked lightly about this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah.
And we were very friendly at the beginning. So I just assumed
Right.
that she would be about it, and
Right.
she really was just trying to. God love her and respect. She was trying to up her commission.
Right.
Eesh.
Yeah.
All right.
You know?
Ask,
more you know.
Ask any and all questions. Learn from us. Learn from sweet baby Dev.
Yeah. And tell us if you bought a life insurance policy and you like it, and if it's working for you, and
Yes,
why.
please let us know.
Because I'm saying normal. I'm just forgetting the term. Is it permanent life insurance? That's
Permanent
that's
and
the normal
Term.
Term is
Term is what I'm saying. Okay.
Permanent is
the
Waka Flocka.
bank. Waka Flocka perm.
Yes.
And then term for other stuff. Because with term life insurance, you don't need to, when that gets paid out to your beneficiary, I don't think taxes come out of that, right?
No.
It's all tax free.
And I meant to mention something you also have to keep in mind is this is an insurance policy, right? So if you stop paying for like a month or something, they're like, I don't know you. You know, like, who is she?
Yes.
Because they're always like that. They're like, they're very inflexible when it comes to like your payment schedule. So if you miss a payment, they pretend like you're not with them anymore. So you just have to remember that, you know?
Yes. Remember that you're paying into a business.
Right.
And not someone who's coddling your life in their hands as much as I would want to think
Yeah.
that that's what it is.
That's how they present themselves. They're like,
Yeah.
we're thinking about you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing your story, Deb.
Yeah.
I learned so much today. I did not know about most of this.
Yep.
Tune in next week for more juicy factoids and tea about the finances of our life. Bye.
If you like this podcast, please subscribe to us. We also have a YouTube channel. Check us out on video so you can see Devin's beautiful graphs and such. And where else are we? Oh, follow us on Instagram once we make one.
Yeah, it's coming, you guys.
We gave you the handle, but we don't know it yet.
It's probably going to be Money Honey something.
Yeah.
_ Anyway.
We love you.